But we're going to start by doing EDS, Elon Derangement Syndrome. I think we got a new ED. Now, you might have several others, and my apologies for that. There are medications that might be able to help you. But there's no medication to cure EDS, unfortunately. Elon Derangement Syndrome is real. It is, and people are fired up. A lot of people have it. And so many people have it now, they're just like attacking his companies straight out. In fact, today, still is a massive cyber attack against X/Twitter. We get attacked every day, but this was done with a lot of resources. Either a large coordinated group and or a country is involved, and they are currently tracing it. That is a tweet from Elon Musk. I guess it's technically an X, right? From Elon Musk. But he's talking about, because, I mean, if you wanted to go on there and find out what was going on, for example, on NFL free agency kickoff day, and all of a sudden, all the freaking NFL reporters' Twitters aren't working. That's the type of terrorist attack that should start a world war. It's a very important day for X and Twitter, and they screwed it up. So I'm very angry about that. But it's not just Twitter with Elon. Elon Derangement Syndrome is going far, far beyond that. Tesla shares are plunging as Musk's political role grows more divisive. And, you know, like charts, you get a little version of the chart there, but let me give you a bigger version of it. What's interesting about it is you see election day, Tesla stock was, 250, went all the way up to almost 500 and is now back to basically 250. So we've seen a major run up and a major run down when it comes to Tesla shares. Now you might say, wait a minute, does that really have to do with the political aspirations of Elon Musk? Partially, although there could be other reasons. For example, the Cybertruck. Not my favorite Elon play. The Cybertruck design disaster is complete as Tesla gets desperate. This story is basically about how there are, all sorts of incentives going into the Cybertruck. They can't get them off of the lots. And look, it's a pretty specialty vehicle, right? Like, I think it's the worst looking thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I can't stand it. I think it's bizarre. You might love it. I think people who love it really, really love it. And it certainly has amazing technology inside of it. I mean, you can, I was talking to a friend of mine who's a Tesla nerd, and he's like, you can power your entire house. You can just plug this into your house and actually power your entire house like it's a battery, like a generator for a time if your power goes out. I mean, it really is an amazing piece of equipment. That being said, it's hideous. Let's be honest about it. It looks like a kid designed it because a kid did design it. That's pretty much where I am on the Cybertruck. And, you might love yours. You might want to get one. You might like everyone staring at you everywhere you go. It's not always a stare like, when a Lamborghini passes you by, people are like, whoa. Not exactly that with the Cybertruck, in my opinion. But that being said, Tesla has done a lot of really good things. They're one of the most powerful car companies in the world, which is quite a statement. I mean, they really have completely changed the way we drive. And now there's just hatred for Elon Musk. 6 protesters arrested at the NYC Tesla showroom. Let me show you some of the footage of this. This is, you see people kind of just coming in, and there's tons of protesters outside. They're saying they want to boycott. They're kind of just like rushing. Like, remember the old flash mob thing? They're like flash mobbing into Tesla dealerships and vandalizing them. They've got signs with Elon Musk doing a Nazi salute, which, of course, obviously he wasn't doing. Doesn't make any sense at all to believe that he was doing it. But, of course, when did making sense have anything to do with this? Right? That's not the purpose of what we're doing here today together. Now, another fascinating development about this, and I think this is the one that hits me in the most centrally, I will say, because I love the environment stories. I love the hypocrisy of the environmental movement. It just brings me joy. And now we're into a situation where people who preach to you about how you should buy Teslas for years and years and years and years are now embarrassed because they have Teslas. It's true. This is the New York Times. Tesla for sale. Buyer's remorse sinks in for Elon Musk's EV-owning critics. The buyer's remorse is playing out at a volatile moment for Tesla as stocks dropped by double digits in the last week, wiping out most post-election surge for Mr. Musk's company. A recent report showed plummeting sales in Europe, and the company faces increased competition from other EV makers as it's eating away at its market share. Recent protests outside Tesla showrooms in the United States are some notable cases of vehicle owners being harassed have also made headlines. With its futuristic curves and eco-friendly mantra, Tesla in the past decade has gone from curiosity to celebrity status to ubiquity. 2015, the company said it sold 50,000 cars globally. 2019, that number had jumped to 367,500 vehicles, and in 2021, it was nearly a million. To tell you how long this thing's been around, I remember doing a segment. We did a global warming special back on CNN Headline News, which I think is maybe still a network. I'm not 100% sure if it's still on. I think it is. But we were on it. And it wasn't as widely watched as some of the other work we've done, but I think we did some good stuff there. And we did a global warming special. One of the segments was with, I think it was the first CEO, the first founder of Tesla. And this is back in, we went over to Fox in 2009, so it had to be 2008 or 2007 in that general vicinity. So that's how long they've been around. I mean, the original Tesla Roadster came out, and the point of that segment was to say, hey, I'm not really interested in an electric car, but if you're going to make electric cars work, you got to do it kind of like this new company is doing it, where they're taking their car, they made a $100,000 car that's really, really fast and really cool looking, and it's not for everybody, but it can get people started down that road. Maybe they make some gains there with the evil rich people, and they're able to turn that into a larger business. Well, that kind of happened. It did. It worked out pretty much exactly like the hopes were for that segment. And maybe if electric cars are going to be the future of our country, at least they won't suck so badly. After that, Elon Musk, who was an investor early in Tesla, but not the guy who actually founded it, but he wound up, of course, shepherding it into the massive thing that it is today. And so, this has been a long run. And it was something that was not only utilized, certainly in our case, of just saying, hey, technology can be cool, and if electric cars are great, we'll embrace them. I've got nothing against them if they work great. The left has always been pushing it because it is such a central part of their ideology to oppose global warming. Let me give you a little bit more from this article. More recent years, Mr. Musk has been more widely known. He has drawn criticism for his sweeping cuts to federal agencies as part of the Trump administration and his support of the far-right AfD party in Germany and his views on COVID lockdowns. No one's following Elon Musk his support of the AfD party in Germany. Give me a break. We all know what it is. It's all about Trump and the ties to the administration. That's what it's about. He likes him, so that's the big problem. Now, it did start with COVID. He opened up his factory before the people in California wanted him to, because he wanted to make cars that were supposed to save the environment from our greatest existential threat. But apparently that wasn't okay at that point. I don't know. Tesla's sales were resilient, climbed each year no matter what really happened, climbed along what market researchers describe as a loyalty among their customers. Most recently, monthly sales have seesawed between 50,000 and 60,000 after years of explosive growth. In 2024, Tesla reported the first annual sales drop in its history. And you can kind of understand this, right? Obviously, Elon Musk is somebody that you probably appreciate right now, mostly. Maybe not all of his views. Certainly, I don't agree with him on a lot of his global warming stuff, but generally speaking, this approach to Doge is something I at least have high hopes for. We will see where it lands. There's a lot of bureaucracy in his way, and whether he'll succeed in all these cuts, we don't know. But I at least like the approach, at least the attempt to go in there and make our government more efficient and slimmer. And you can see how if the car is associated with that, if you're on the left, it's the last thing in the world you want, right? You've got Hitler in office, and you're like, am I really going to buy the Himmler car company? That's how they look at these people. The second you disagree with them on something, you turn into a Nazi. And we can give you whatever name of a Nazi that you like, but the bottom line is, it's hard probably on the left, right? You're trying to have all your cool lefty friends, your cool environmentalist friends. Do they praise you for having an electric car? Or do they shun you for being associated with somebody who seems to not think Donald Trump is Hitler? Very, very difficult conundrum for a lot of these people. As I mentioned, shares of Tesla dropped 13% during the last week of February. Market value now under $1 trillion, which kind of seems like almost like comedy, like $1 trillion used to be like a fake number. The shares closed at $284.65. They are down 40% from December 17th. In the United States, perhaps the most notable rebuke of the car brand was lodged by Sheryl Crow. There's a name you haven't heard in a while. Singer-songwriter posted an Instagram video in February showing her waving goodbye as her electric vehicle was driven away in a flatbed truck. The actress Octavia Spencer and the musician Casey Musgraves were among the celebrities who commented on messages in support of the decision. I remember AOC kind of going through the same thing. She bought a Tesla, and she was upset that she had a Tesla because Elon Musk was now evil. And I guess his being rich and wanting to cut the government down to size is a bigger issue than the globe catching on fire. So you can totally keep track of that logic. I'm sure it's possible. This is not just people though abandoning their cars. Graffiti and middle fingers. Tesla Cybertrucks have become a political statement. One of the issues here, when you go through this particular story, is you see an issue that can actually be real for your average Tesla driver, right? Like, especially if you're in a blue state, you may have tried to do this for the environment. You may have just kind of bought one because it's fast and cool. No matter why you bought one, if you're getting harassed everywhere you go and people are throwing things at your car, there was a parade this weekend in New Orleans where people were pelting Cybertrucks in the parade with beads and beer cans. Like, your stuff's getting damaged. Like, most people aren't this ideological, right? Like, they don't live in this weird world that people live in on Twitter, and they just don't see the world like that. They say, oh, that's just another car passing me by. I don't have to attack it because I don't like the guy who owns the company. Like, it's hard to even, I don't even understand it, frankly. One of the things that I love about capitalism, and I know the left doesn't love capitalism all that much, but one of the things I love about it is I don't have to screen every individual I do business with on all of their opinions, right? Like, we engage in trade that benefits both of us. If you, like, they want to sell a car, you want to buy a car, you think you're addressing global warming, he thinks you're addressing global warming. Who cares? If you are addressing global warming, that's a totally different situation. But at the end of the day, you're both doing something that you think benefits you, right? Selling the car benefits Elon, buying the car benefits you. That's capitalism. You don't have to screen every single one of their opinions. If I were to buy a Tesla, which I get honestly closer and closer to just because of how badly Elon Musk gets treated by the media these days. But if I were to buy a Tesla, like, I wouldn't necessarily be buying it because I certainly wouldn't be buying it because I agree with Elon Musk's opinions on global warming or space travel or having, 14 kids with God knows how many mothers. Like, those aren't my policies. Those are his policies. But I'm an adult. I can handle. I realize that the car doesn't bring along his ideas, right? Like, the car is a car. That's it. I don't all of a sudden, start trying to expand the global population by hooking up with a bunch of people because I have a Tesla. That's not how that works. You're still you. You're just driving at a car that you might enjoy. They're vandalizing Cybertrucks. Here's one with a swastika on it because there's nothing more Nazi than electric trucks. Also, MSNBC is gleeful as they are now abandoning, they tell Musk to abandon Doge while gleefully reacting to a SpaceX explosion. Here is MSNBC anchors along with Michael Steele talking about this, and listen to the glee.
It is the second consecutive Starship test flight from Elon Musk's company to end with destruction. All I could think about was, I can't sing.
No, please don't. That's good. That's good. We got it. We understand.
That was funny.
How painful that was for y'all out there. Just as watching things blow up. His response to all of this was, rockets are hard. And Mr. Musk, if they're so hard, why don't you go back to your day job and work that out?
Do you get it? Like, that was funny because they, I'm sorry, I can't trace why it was funny, but in theory it was funny. Try to figure that out. I will say that's the new show, by the way, they replaced Joy Reid with. So if you're thinking like, oh, Joy Reid, they finally got rid of her, maybe they'll get somebody sensible. No, they got 3 times the nuts is what they got. That was the decision made by MSNBC. No big renovation going on over there. Look, aside from the nonsense that you see on TV, there's a central disconnect here when it comes to the media. And what they tell you is science. How often did we hear science is king? Listen to the science. Well, the science, if you listen to their science, quite clearly would tell you electric cars are a net positive. Electric cars are going to save the world from global warming. They're going to get rid of the 20% of our emissions that come from our transportation sector. They're going to change the way that we move and all these incredible things. And then the second the person who's advanced that cause more than any single individual in the history of the planet disagrees with one of their policies, he's Adolf Hitler. It's almost like they don't mean anything that they say. And I know that sounds like I'm really going out on a limb, but it's almost as if none of these things are actual beliefs. It's almost like, it's so close to them not actually caring about global warming at all. Maybe, just maybe, they're using global warming to get themselves a little bit more power and to hang on to whatever power that they have. That seems to be the real focus, because if you can implement global warming policy at the levels that they want it, for example, not the way that Elon Musk has approached it, where he's created his own vehicles and tried to solve it that way, along with, by the way, a giant solar panel company and a space exploration company, which, by the way, the one they were laughing at was partially designed to remove humans from Earth, bring them to Mars to avoid global warming. That's how serious Elon Musk is about it. Now, I'm sure Michael Steele has done something almost as strong to stop global warming as Elon Musk has. But the second they disagree with one of those policies, all of a sudden, the greatest existential threat we've ever faced, the thing that has to be an overarching policy to control your energy consumption, your travel, everything that you buy, everything that's manufactured, even the location from which your food is derived, all of that comes crumbling down because he voted for the wrong guy once. In fact, he didn't even endorse him until one of their donors almost killed the man. And still, he's the enemy of all enemies. It is, to say it gently, the most pathetic display, because we had to sit through 20 years of them saying this was going to kill us. And we have to get electric cars to save us. And the second that electric cars and solar panels and space exploration comes out of the mind of one guy, they bail on him instantly because he won't check every single one of their other ridiculous boxes. It is maybe the most revealing thing we've seen from the left in quite a long time. And look, they expose themselves daily, so that is really saying something. But when you think about how central this has been to their entire worldview for so long, the fact that they've abandoned it this quickly is stunning, but also at the same time, and these two things can exist. It could be stunning, and it could be the most obvious and expected thing that you can ever imagine, because that is who these people are.